The double headers are coming thick and fast. Another exciting day here, and we are going to talk all about the games at Timeout with Sports Adda. Arun, two exciting games yesterday and two more coming up with the big teams today. The World Cup is
Yeah,
starting to take color.
you've got to give credit to the scheduling people at the ICC, Akhil. They've got it spot on, absolutely spot on. On a Friday, Pakistan v Afghanistan, perhaps the biggest game of the World Cup, and it was supercharged. The atmosphere in Dubai was supercharged. And then Saturday, you've got South Africa playing, yes, but later in the evening for folks in a certain part of the world, the oldest rivalry in cricket, England v Australia, and then tomorrow you've got India
Hmm.
playing. So the scheduling's been spot on, absolutely spot on.
Spot on, two games is a logistical challenge for everybody who's organizing the tournament. But you're right. In the time period that they have, they've managed to do this really, really well. Good games, really good games yesterday, and I mean the points table has now also started to change. We know what are the permutations, combinations. The teams will also start to know what they have to do to go to the semi-final stage. So, should we have a look at the points table? Here's the points table, Group One, Arun. All the teams
Yeah,
playing today are from this group.
yeah, we've got what England like I mentioned, we've got Sri Lanka, South Africa
Sri Lanka,
first
South
up in the
Africa.
afternoon, and then it's
Yeah,
England against Australia. So look at it. I mean, this is the more difficult group, Akhil, really. I
yeah,
mean, England
yeah.
and Australia are sitting unbeaten right now, but only two of those six teams can go through. So which are those two teams that's going to England look real hot right at the moment?
Yeah.
Australia have played well. They've had to work for their wins, but they've got those two wins under the belt, and in many ways, today's England Australia match could be a decider. Like only one of those teams could go through to the semis, and then you never know what's going to happen between Australia, the remaining teams, really.
Yes, Bangladesh are the only ones who look like their chances are finished with yesterday's loss. Uh, getting two wins is not going to be good enough for them to qualify. So technically now Bangladesh could just be the spoilers by beating some of the teams, the games that they have left. But otherwise,
Correct.
it's going to be a real contest there. Arun, West Indies are back in the game. They look very passionate yesterday. If you saw that game, and they were really wanting this win. They got this win, very close win. So there's the push for the top will start now. Let's talk about the first game, Sri Lanka South Africa. Both teams have played two games, one each, lost one. Uh, South Africa seemed to again getting some momentum, right? Like momentum is a word we talk a lot in T20 cricket, and South Africa seemed to be finding some pieces together even after what happened with Deacock last match, where such an important player missing a game, but they still managed to find a way to beat the West Indies. Impressive things happening there for South Africa.
Yes, now you've actually called the right things there. What happens to Quinton de Kock now? Now he's posted his apology and he's explained his side
Yeah.
of things. So now does he get reintegrated? Does he get called back? That's a huge question that needs answering today, Akhil. If he comes in, what happens to the rest of the team? So
Yeah.
lots of complications there. They've got the players who've done the job. You're right. Especially on the bowling front. Shamsi had a bad day, yes, but otherwise, I think Andrik Nokke has been bowling so beautifully. So much of fire, Akhil, in this tournament.
And Noke and Rabada also, he's been quite good in the last game. If they even Pretorius, the way that he bowled in the last game in the end overs, mixing it
Yeah.
up and providing that all rounder option. So they've
Did he
managed to
pick
get
up
that
three
combination.
towards the end? He picked up 3 wickets, if I remember right, towards the end in that game.
Yes, yes, and I mean it was against the West Indies hitters also, which was the most satisfying for him. I mean, bowling against those batters is really tough. Again, Aiden Markram, Arun, he's been a
Oof.
real find for them. He
Was a
was hitting the
revelation.
Absolutely. Nobody considered him as a T20 player much before the tournament started. But he's bowling the overs, he's bowling the tough overs also sometimes at the beginning of the innings. And then he's managing to give those finishing touches, hit sixes also, which was a more surprising for me actually to watch. So Aiden
It was.
Markram is proving that cornerstone.
It was, I worked on that game, and for a lot of us in our crew, in our broadcast crew, the chat was that we've never seen this side of Aiden Markram, really. So
Yeah,
it kind of came as a, also because I think we saw a bit of him in the Indian T20 League, and he
correct.
was kind of out of place there. You felt like he was out of place. He was, so this was really refreshing. It was, I mean, those sixes, and to finish off the way he did against that West Indies, really, it holds. It gives South Africa, such a boost to have that kind of a player, especially given Quinton de Kock was not there. But like I mentioned, there was him. There's Van der Dusen who scored runs as well. And for me, the standout feature of that match against the West Indies, they didn't panic, Akil. There was
Yeah,
a certain calmness about their batting, about their bowling as well. Shamsi went for runs, yes, but they never for a second look like we've lost grip over proceedings. And a lot of credit I think goes to the captain Temba Bavuma, for things the way he kind of handled his resources, uh, and for the way he kind of kept things together despite all that happened before the game. So South Africa looking good. Uh, Today will be a kind of a difficult. I mean, if you can look at their lineup quickly,
yeah.
there's just that one question mark, like I mentioned earlier. It's about whether there's room for Quinton de Kock now. I mean, have they patched up enough? Uh, I don't know. What's your take, Akil?
I think he's an important player, Arun. I think they will get him back. Unfortunately, Riza Hendricks might have to make way for him. Left-handed option, huge striker of the ball, such an experienced player. But it's a
Hmm.
very, very sensitive issue. It's not something where he's had a disciplinary issue and they've had to forgive him and get him back into the squad. What has
Yeah.
happened is the kind of situation that South Africa has been through over the years. This is a big issue. So just you're right, patching up in the dressing room and making sure everybody is aligned. It's not an easy task. So I mean, it's a call. I think they'll have to take very very sensitively, keeping all the political structures. It will help. Graham Smith is there. He's there in Dubai, Abu Dhabi. So he's somebody who has a huge influence on this team. So he will have a say, and he's a wise guy. So we know that he'll come with a good solution there for the team.
The two big challenges for South Africa today, Akhil. One is we'll talk about Sri Lanka, but also the fact that they're playing in Sharjah, where the pitches haven't been too friendly to batting freely. So that's
Yeah,
something they'll have to figure out a way to come up well again. But like you mentioned, the Sri Lanka, and Sri Lanka means spin. There's mystery spin, and there's whole lots of spin. There's one Indo Asaranga, obviously. We look at Sri Lanka's lineup. Uh, they've blown hot and cold. Uh, the batting's okay. I mean, they've had individual stand up. You'll
yeah,
never see any of the big. You'll never see a De Villiers, or you'll never see a Maxwell or a Chris Gayle. There's nobody of that kind of a reputation in this lineup. But
yeah.
there are individuals putting their hand up and saying, "I'll do the job today." So that's good for Sri Lanka.
Yeah, and they started off, they could have had a really good game against Australia, Arun. I was really surprised when that, if you remember that big impact that in that match was when David Warner was dropped. He
Yeah.
was trying to hook a ball initially, and it was a simple catch that Kushal Pereira. I mean, at an international standard, when you're batting, like when you have somebody like a David Warner batting and such catches are dropped, it just causes a lot of impact to be dropped out of the match. And you have two good spinners coming up. Your pacers are bowling really quickly, Arun. I mean, this pace trio that Sri Lanka have are bowling probably the quickest that we have seen anybody from Sri Lanka since Malinga emerged. So they have some firepower there. Asalanka is batting really well. Karuna Ratne again he's a fighter. So they have something going for them. They just can't be so sloppy by dropping people like David Warner.
No, you can't. You brought this up. Good, you brought this up. I was working on that game, and I think it was Simon Dool who asked for a graphic saying, "Can we look at the fastest bowlers in the Super 12, and how often have you had two Sri Lankans top a list, at least fastest bowlers who were playing in the match, two Sri Lankans sitting on top, and then there was Pat Cummins, Mitchell Stark, and Hazelwood. So that tells you how good Sri Lankan fast bowlers have been. But yeah, you can't drop people like David Warner and expect to get away. That's something they'll have to tighten up. But otherwise, they don't look they don't look like a, they won't strike fear in you, but it's just
Yeah.
that, there are people, like I mentioned, who will put their hands up on a given day and say, okay, today is probably my chance to do the job for the team. There's so
Yeah.
many individuals who can do that, play that kind of a role. So it's going to be interesting. The conditions obviously will favor Sri Lanka. And like I mentioned, they've got Hasaranga, they've got Mahesh Tikshna. They might just look at getting another spinner or a part timer there. So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. Sri Lanka favorites for me.
Sri Lanka favorites for you, all right. And then there's a big game after that, the oldest rivalry in world cricket in the shortest format of the game. Australia England have produced some glorious encounters in T20 cricket. They are going to go against each other. David Warner is back in form. We spoke about how he's practicing on that concrete wicket, doing his best to try and come back into form. So David Warner coming back into form is a huge, huge relief for for Australia. Arun. He's such an important cog for them for getting them off to that flyers and just pushing the team along with the momentum that he gives them. So England Australia very very exciting. Any changes, any matchups we can look for there?
No, here's the thing, Akhil. In terms of matchups, what's happened so far in the competition is England have opened with Moeen Ali. So that's going to be interesting. That's the interesting thing for me. Will they persist with Moeen Ali uh, against a David Warner? David Warner has generally had his struggles against pacers, in the last year or so. And it
Yeah,
all started, if I may say, with that Stuart Broad round the wicket angle in that Ashes.
yeah.
So will England whisper about that? Will they bring it to David Warner's attention, or will they stick to a tried and tested formula of Moeen Ali opening the bowling around the wickets? So that's going to be interesting. That's a matchup that I'm looking forward to. On the other end, Aaron Finch has had his struggles against leg spinners. At the start of the year, Ish Sodhi troubled him a lot. Then there was Hayden
Yeah.
Walsh Jr. who troubled him a lot. More recently, in the previous game against Sri Lanka, Vanindo Asaranga got him. So, while there are all these matchups, uh, I just have a feeling England might go back to the conventional way of bowling seam up at the start. They might get 1 hour of spin, maybe, but not more than that.
Interesting. Also, the Australian quick bowlers, Mitchell Stark it's they don't experiment with who bowls the first over there. It is Mitchell Stark, quick, trying to get the swing. So him bowling against the England openers also, if he manages to get a couple of crucial wickets early, and then he's bowling the slog overs also so beautifully, Arun, that Yorker that he got the other day. So
Top
he's a
class.
real top class one. So he's again in form, and Hazelwood and him bowling together to the English batters who all are going to go, including Livingston, Moeen Ali, Ian Morgan. We know all of them are just going to go on the attack. So all of them, it's a solid contest. That's one contest that I'm looking forward to.
The contest I am looking forward to, really, apart from Moeen Ali v Warner and the England bowlers against Warner, is Hazelwood against the England openers. Hazelwood's like a machine, Akhil. We saw a pitch map the other day. I called for it, and he was just hitting that area. They were probably two deliveries short and maybe 3-4 deliveries fuller. That's allowed, but
Yeah.
generally hitting the good length repeatedly, and that's a contest that I'm looking forward to. The English openers are not ones who'll just sit back and play straight. Jason Roy
Yeah.
and Josh Butler, they will be all over the place and they'll play all kinds of shots. So how do they unsettle uh, a Josh Hazelwood and at the other end a Mitch Stark? That's going to be really interesting.
Interesting calls there. Again, very, very crucial game for both these teams. They've won both their games. So they,
Also,
yeah,
Akhil, if I can just interrupt briefly, once you get rid of the openers, both sides have this problem. The biggest names in that lineup are the opening bats. But what happens if those openers are dismissed cheaply? That's going to be another plot within the entire story.
Of course, there is Maxwell in Australia who's in that red hot form. He's not got runs in the last game. So he'll be
Yeah.
again itching to have a go. Do you think the toss will be very important? Again, we've seen the dew having such a massive effect. So toss at this ground will have an impact.
It wasn't yesterday. There wasn't too much dew yesterday in yesterday evening's game. So So, it's been very hard to predict, Akhil. The conditions here,
Hmm.
on certain days, there have been excessive dew. On certain days, there have been no, certain evenings, rather. There's been no dew at all. So, it's kind of, I think, uh, you can't really call the overhead conditions or the ground conditions. Uh, but here's the thing, whatever happens, I think it's important to win the toss. Uh, Aaron Finch has been quite good at calling that. He's won 10 of the last 12 tosses or something. So
Nice.
Finchy will be hoping let the coin fall in my favor. So we'll see how that goes.
Okay, so you've already called Sri Lanka in the first match. England versus Australia, then who's your pick?
I think Australia. I mean, sorry, I think England, but I want Australia to win. I mean, the heart says Australia have to win this.
Okay,
I just have too many people who are liking that Australian team. I mean, there's no cricketing logic to it today. It's just that there are too many people I really admire in that Australian team. There's obviously Maxwell, there's obviously Stark, Cummins, their captain Aaron Finch, Adam Zampa. So many players I really enjoy watching.
Okay, Sri Lanka. It is for me also in the first game. I'm actually very confused in the second match, like you have said. But I am backing England to win. I just think that they have a little more firepower in the T20 format, especially with the batters. So I'm hoping that somebody like a Livingston, David Malan, they will have a go today, and they are capable batsmen. So I'm going to back England for this game. Let's see again, double headers and a big India game coming up very soon. So this World Cup is now starting to gain a lot of impetus. We'll talk about all those games here at Time Out with Sports Adda.